Well, lights, camera, action. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're viewing from. This is Laura Thompson, your friendly, fabulous, feisty, fierce, and phenomenal CEO and creator of TAN TV, the African American Network, where we have a local feel with a global reach. And you're tuned into the coffee break. And guess who I ran into again this Thursday evening? The fabulous, phenomenal Bea Baylor, and she's going to co-host um, the coffee break tonight, and she's got a very special guest that she's going to be introducing to you in a few minutes. But Bea, how you doing?
Oh, Laura, thank you. I'm doing very good. I woke up this morning thinking my day was going to go this way, but it went that way. So I had an opportunity to hang out with Mama. Need I say anything else? I
Right.
was a good girl to Mama. So we all just did some shopping, doctor's appointments.
Well, that
And
is.
I came back to get ready for the coffee break, but I was thinking it was happy hour.
Oh, okay. So you bought your wine, I bet you,
Wine,
with a straw.
girl, girl thing. Okay.
Right. You can't mess that
I
lipstick
don't want to
up
go
too
back
much.
in the days. I want to be a girl, just drink it from the bottle. No, Laura,
Right. No, don't do it. Don't do it.
don't do it.
It takes away from the exquisite silver
Fabulous.
hair, the
Yes,
fabulous,
yes.
feisty
So
Bea
my day
Baylor.
has been exquisitely, I'm just trying to keep my words right
I know. Well,
because
you got
words
it.
matter. So my day has been fabulous and
Wow.
exquisitely
So what do
fabulous.
you have in store for us tonight on the coffee break?
Well, first, I just want to thank you, Laura, for giving me the opportunity to be the co host on the coffee break, TAN TV. And I also just want to congratulate you on some of the marvelous things that you're doing with TAN TV. You know, that old saying, you got to stay to the end, Laura, and you rode the waves, and all the great things are coming your way. So, congratulations for all that you do for your community in San Antonio, but you're globally as well. So, global with a local feel.
I know, right. Well, thank
my
you.
my fabulous guest, she's not my guest, she's my best friend, and I literally took the opportunity to meet Inez Bracy on Facebook, and I saw this beautiful uh, poet, this articulate woman that came on at 7 a.m. and was giving all these positive thoughts. And I go, who's that lady? I got to meet her. And I literally reached out and had the privilege and pleasure of meeting Inez. And for some reason, I don't know if it's our hair, but we clicked and we have been best friends from last year. And she has mentored, coached, loved on me, and genuinely, authentically cared for me. And that's huge to say when someone cares for you like you're my sister. And yes, I have five other sisters and one brother, and I know what that feels like. And Inez, you definitely feel like a sister to me. So thank you for coming on, and would you definitely share a little bit about you?
Thank you, B, for having me. And yes, we are sisters. And I'm so glad that you came into my life. It just makes everything better. I am an author, a coach, a life coach, NLP, and also a health coach. And I work with women primarily in facilitating their process to get to where they want to be in life. Many times I find that They have had so many traumas and been told what they could do and who they could be, and they bought into it. So I facilitate them in getting to the point where they no longer rely on others to tell them who they can be. They decide for themselves. So they get to choose the life and the lifestyle that they desire. And it's such a beautiful thing to experience when they have that aha moment.
And you've traveled globally.
Oh, yes, I love to travel. I absolutely adore traveling. For 2014 and 15, I traveled in Southeast Asia, Australia, and New Zealand. And it was amazing. I had such a blast. And all the people that I met were just genuinely awesome people. And I got to experience much of the culture because I met the natives. And meeting the natives, they would take me off the tourist pass and to a place where they would go. And that was just really, really awesome. I even took the local buses and trains and all of that. It was awesome.
Yes. So I've got this bucket list, Inez. I could see the both of us with a Class C motorhome and us just gallivanting down the road. You're going to have to do the driving because I'll be like, oh my goodness. I think that trip is going to happen, and we're going to be like RVing and doing some cities and stopping and doing our business, maybe some speaking, all of that. I see that down the road. Would you agree?
I totally agree. And I see it closer up the road rather down the road. Remember, words matter. So if it's up the road, it's closer to us. If it's down the road, it's further away.
And I knew you, yeah, get me right, because I kind of been a little off all day long. I have this thing about overthinking and really thinking my thoughts are like going into situations that hasn't even happened, and I'm preventing it. And then I am nostalgic and remembering what used to happen to me and how I just would be in situations and get hurt so bad. And then I start thinking that I'm going to start really not thinking those thoughts, because that matters, right? What's the action, Inez? How can people stop talking and thinking and saying words that really is against them? Because I say the sky is the limit.
Really?
Yes.
What about outside the sky, past the sky,
Wow.
past the stratosphere, all the way out? There is no limit. We put a ceiling on our thoughts. We put a ceiling on everything. It's almost like the ceiling in my home. So since I have that ceiling, I'm thinking, well, if I bump my head against that, it's going to knock me out. So why are we putting the sky out there? There are no limits unless we put them on ourselves. And when you talk about thoughts and how they help us or keep us where we are, one of the things we get to do, is to decide to be in the energy of having the thoughts that support us in being the person we know ourselves to be and moving always toward that, even if it's just 1 degree. And every second, if you're thinking about it, when you find yourself getting off track, having the contrast come in that tells you, oh, you did this before and it didn't work. That's fine, but I didn't do it this way before. So I get to continue on my path. Does that make sense?
It does, Inez, but what if I just wake up every morning and go, I don't like your hair or your face, or you need to lose weight, or things aren't going right in my business, and I wake up and that's the first thing that comes up. Like, I'm thinking that, not me, but I used to, but
when that happens, you're preparing yourself to repeat yesterday and the day before yesterday and the day before that and the year before. So when you find yourself thinking like that, pause and start to creating in your mind the thoughts that you really desire for the day. Today, I desire to meet my clients. Today, I desire to attract 2 more clients, paying clients who joyfully, willingly, blissfully can't hardly wait to give me their money.
Women,
And
women, did you guys hear that? I love that, Inez.
and we always, some people are talking about the low hanging fruit. Well, you got apples all the way up to the top of the tree. Why are you dealing around down here when the people at the top of the tree want you, but they can't see you because you're down underneath here getting the low hanging fruit? And don't misunderstand. There is nothing wrong with low hanging fruit. However, many times when we are working with low hanging fruit, we are not charging what we can charge or what we want to charge, because the low hanging fruit often are not in the economic space where they can pay the price that we desire. In that instance, yes, you can work with low hanging fruit in group situations, but when you're working with others at the top of the tree who really see what you're doing, they want to work with you, but you never reach out to them. Your language doesn't even really speak to them, but they know you're doing great work. So we get to really, really, really be aware of, always mindful of the words that we speak, the thoughts that we have, because those thoughts become words. And as we start to utter something, everything we utter casts a spell. So when you're saying, oh, it's my hair's wrong, I don't like myself, I'm too fat, until you start to love your hair looking like mine, till you start to love these rolls that start to come and you can grab them where you used to couldn't grab them, but now you got a handful, you're going to continue to put yourself down. Now, why in the world would one put oneself down? Enough people out there doing that for you already, so you need to rise up.
Oh my gosh, you're so right. It's called rising up and really waking up in the morning to be grateful and thankful.
Gratitude goes a very long way. And even before morning, the last thoughts of the evening before you go to sleep are thoughts that just love up on yourself and not back up and look to the things that went well that day. Focus only on those things that went well that day, because there's nothing you can do about what went wrong. But whatever went well is going to give you that when you wake up in the morning, you relax into knowing that you did something well yesterday, and now you can plan for it today.
Wow. So Inez, I want to talk about relationships. And what does that look like? Opposites attract, but there have been in my life relationships that you're looking at that person and those words are coming out and it's real negative and you're paying attention and you're like, oh, it's not my cup of tea, but I need to say something. Is it appropriate to tell your partner, spouse, friends, business partners that their words are inappropriate?
Absolutely. Now, one of the things that I know for sure, be the relationship that we create for ourselves, the relationship with yourself, is the most important. And the words that you say to yourself, I always work with my clients on loving yourself up so completely that nothing can shake your foundation. So when you love yourself up so completely, you are giving off those vibrations to attract to you one of like mind. And when you attract the like-minded person, because you're already full of yourself, and it's okay to be full of yourself. Some people say, well, you're just so full of yourself. Yes, I am. I'm full of myself.
Let me get that straight.
And that is a positive. We've been taught that a servant leader is the best thing you can be. No, you got to serve yourself first. Okay. Being selfish with yourself first, because when you serve yourself first, now you generously are able to give, because you keep yourself loved up and over. So when we're in relationships, rather than looking for somebody to complete us, my better half, what? Your better half? Come on now. Yeah, so, and those are the words that we use. So you are complete, whole and complete, just as you are. They can compliment you, which is awesome. And being complimented, that means that you're both complimenting each other. And yes, there will be times when someone will say some things and it's like, oh, did he really say that? Did she really say that? Should I deal with that right now? If you're in a position where you can speak lovingly about whatever happened, because you don't want to tear anybody down. So you speak lovingly about it and you frame it in a way that it is acceptable to them.
Because words last forever sometime, and they do affect you.
All the time, Bea, especially those that hit us right here, that hurt.
Boy, I've been hit that way too. Have you?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. And there is work that we can do to rewrite that narrative that caused that hurt, which will ease the pain. Because every time, unless we rewrite the narrative, every time we think about the hurt, it's as if it just happened today. So we go through all those feelings again. But when you learn how, and I work with my clients on that as well, how to rewrite the narrative so that it doesn't mean that it didn't happen, but now you're in a different space and time, so you can rewrite it so that it doesn't have that hold on you anymore.
And that's forgiveness?
That's what?
Is it forgiveness?
You know, there's forgiveness, and there are a lot of people that talk about forgiveness. I rarely talk about forgiveness because I know it's not a belief for me. I know that people do the best that they can with what they have at the time. So if they hurt you, they were doing the best that they could. So what is there to forgive? If you don't know any better, you can't do any better. When you know better, you do better. Oh, if I knew in my 20s what I know now, it would have been on and popping. I ain't know it then.
Right. I totally agree. And as you were saying that, I was sitting here thinking like being in a room full of business owners, and you always, Mark Davenport always say the conversation's different versus being in a room with women that are talking about each other. Do you just exit that conversation?
Either you exit the conversation or you turn it around to something else. When people talk about each other, it shows their level of growth in themselves. Mm-hmm. Those who talk about ideas and things and places and all of that, those women are at a different level of growth. So you won't even be able to stay in that group that's talking about each other, because it just doesn't feel right. And unless you can start talking about a place you're in or a dish that you prepared or something that's going to change the conversation and the energy in the room, it would be best to exit.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I totally agree with you, because that's not a conversation that you want to be privy to or just be around. But what if you have friends and their negative vibes just get to you? Those are your friends. So how do you handle that? I know.
Well, family, friends, and everybody else. But have you ever heard of a long-handled spoon?
My mom would say that, feed them with a long-handled spoon.
Now I see 100,000 foot spoon. That means they're way over there.
It
doesn't mean that you don't love them, but you guard your time with them. You put yourself in a position, then you know that you can stay there for 10 to 15 minutes, have that quick conversation on the phone. And if you see them, hey girl, I was just going blah, 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 blah. And you do something different. Because I found that by sticking around, my energy starts to go down, down, down. And I start to feeling, oh, what happened to me? Those are what I call energy vampires, and they suck your energy because they are not where you are. And because they're not where you are, then it's going to cause you to feel pain just by staying around them. And it's okay. It could be a sister. It could be anyone. And you know, every time I call this sister, it's going to be a short call because I know how she is. And when I get off the phone, I want to feel good about my conversation. So 5 to 7 minutes, we off the phone. And I feel good because she didn't get a chance to go into her stuff.
Right. Oh, and tell her story. And that's so, we run into a lot of women that may have the insecurity about them and really find themselves to overcompensate or have to be, look at me, I'm in the room, not playing as a team player because they want it all. And when you recognize that, Inez, I want to always say something, but I don't know that the words are going to come out because I speak from my heart, and the heart tells the truth sometimes, sometimes not. But when you speak from the heart and it hurts someone's feeling, that's not what you intended to do, but it happens. So you stay silent.
Absolutely, Bea. You can definitely do that. So what I do, I ask my inner being to guide my words, because within us, we carry God. We carry the source. We carry everything within us. We came into the world with it. And because as children, we had to be told no, not to touch the stove and all this other stuff. So a lot of no's separated us from ourselves. And because it separated us from our natural self, sometimes we really get to just go inside and in our mind and guide my thoughts, guide my words so that this is going to come out in a way that is acceptable in your sight. Because if the words come out acceptable in the sight of God, in the sight of source, in the sight of whatever you want to call it, now that means that it will be acceptable to the person for whom you're speaking or with whom you're speaking. And then sometimes it's best just not say anything, because you know, even if you say something, it's not going to matter to them because they're not even going to hear it anyway. It's going to fly right by their ears.
Right.
So
Well,
choose.
Mm-hmm. And you definitely have worked with me because I feel like I need to say something because it just sits here. But I have learned it is best left alone. Because that's going to add fuel to the fire of speaking words, and then it escalates because it's your thoughts, feelings, and what you're thinking, and it can be a story. Everyone has a story that they've made up. I try not to live in other people's story.
Living in other people's stories will get you tripped up every time. When you're living in your own, and even though sometimes you want to say something, it might be prudent to give yourself a day or so to rethink what you would say, to see how you can say what you desire to say, but in a different way. But sometimes if you just go, that destroys relationships. But if you rethink it, you could say the same thing differently and it's more acceptable.
Talk about that some more, Inez, because I believe that a lot of women their actions, or they see a situation and they respond to that situation. And take some time to step back, take a deep breath, go breathe, go meditate, and then come back.
Mm-hmm. All of what you said is absolutely true. Because many times when we respond to something quickly, and you cannot take words back. I don't care what anybody tells you when they talk about sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt. I wish they never made that legit deal, because that is a lie. Yeah, words hurt forever. Your bones will heal and you go about your business. So when something like that happens, teach yourself to be mindful and aware of the energy in which you're standing at that moment, who you're being at that moment. What is the reflection in the mirror coming from that person to you? What are you seeing? And when you decide that it's okay for me to just not speak now, I can let this rest until I get myself together. Because that whatever you see is a part of you. Some of the energy coming off you. And if that energy is coming off you, then is it something you want to hold on to? Or is it something that you say, wait a minute, let me sit with this and see how I can let this energy go, regroup myself. See, we can't regroup anybody but ourselves. Regroup myself and go back and have the conversation in a non-threatening place, in a non-threatening voice, and just enjoy the conversation.
without fear of retaliation.
See, that's the other thing too. If you are fearful of retaliation or any of that, then perhaps this is not the person that you want in your life, because honesty and integrity is very important. So if I got to be afraid, I can't say blah, blah, blah to you because you might whatever, then something is wrong.
Go off.
Yeah, yeah. Then something is wrong. Two adults, I'm talking about grown people.
Grown folk.
When you sit down and have a conversation, you're not your mama, you're not your daddy. Now you are two adults working through something that came up that could either bring the relationship closer together or it can destroy the relationship. What do you desire? And you don't have a boisterous tone, you just speak normally and have the conversation.
Let's talk about women in business. We want to work together, Inez.
Mhm.
We really do. I know I do. Did I tell you I received a phone call today from a lady whom I've never seen in person, but we've done some things together. And she called to ask if she could put me on her roster as one of her collaborative partners. And we just had a beautiful conversation and really came to an agreement in understanding and that communication, that the relationship
Mhm.
can always be authentic because that's how it started out. What would you say to women who want to work together but have trust issues?
Bea Baylor. Trust is huge. It is huge. And so many of us have gone into relationships, even in business and otherwise, where we thought there was integrity and trust, only to find out behind somebody's back that they were not trustworthy. We get to let that go and not hang it on everybody else that we meet. Give others the opportunity to show who they are. Wasn't it Maya Angelou who said, when people show you who they are, believe them?
Really
the first time. No, we want to give them a second chance. Then we got to give them, no. Look at the behaviors, the attitudes, and everything else that's going on. And you know for sure if this person is going to be the person with whom you can trust and work and be great, having a great relationship. And you can tell the energy almost immediately. Because you know, if you're in integrity and they are not, it's going to show up.
It's going to show up. And is that time?
Very quickly.
Is that time for you to go ahead and nip it in the bud?
Nip it in the bud. And when you address it, though, you must address it with calmness and in a loving way.
Mm-hmm.
See, we like to go, woo! No, calmly and in a loving way. Let them know what they said and how you felt and what you desire. Simple as that.
Community, a community of like-minded people can move mountains, but one person can come in chaos. The word chaos, create chaos amongst one another, but no one ever says anything to that person and continues to lack. I call it a Tasmanian devil, like destroying relationships amongst each other by saying, she said, he said, you did that.
When somebody comes to you, I don't care who it is, whether he said, she said, stop them right there. Because when you stop them in their tracks before they even get out the rest of whatever they want to tell you, it cuts it right in half right then. And they know you're not the person to bring a he said, she said too. Right. And they might go behind your back and say, oh, I was trying to tell B so-and-so said blah, 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 and she wouldn't even let me. You don't want to hear it. Because I grew up hearing a dog that will bring a bone will carry a bone. I don't know if you ever heard that, but I grew up in the South.
There's some wisdom going on here. I mean, you guys are hearing wisdom in here, and that is so very true. I definitely have heard that quote many times.
Mhm.
And in order for us, Inez, because you have seen the good, the bad, the ugly, and I have shared things that are dear to my heart, private things, and not once have I um, had to go back to go, oh my gosh, I shouldn't have said that to Inez. What is she going to think of me? Or is she going to judge me because I told her something very private?
One of the things I learned in access consciousness, there's something else in which I'm trained, is to have no judgments and no points of view. And when you have no judgments, doesn't mean I'm not aware of what's going on over here, but I'm not judging it. And by having no points of view about it, it just makes all the difference, because people are people all the time. And when I was traveling in all these different countries, coming from the States, we're not used to that over there, but it didn't bother me because I didn't judge it. This is how they live here. This is how they live there. And I had a very successful trip. And I know it was because I had no judgments and no points of view.
Inez, this has been amazing. You guys are tuned in to the coffee break. You come with the well of knowledge, and I can testify that you mentored, coached me. And some of the things that I've endured medically, health-wise, I wanted to just think a different way. And you helped me just turn that situation around with things that were personal and professional. So I want to thank you. But I know that there are some people out there that want to work with you, Inez. And I highly recommend that people reach out to you for the kind of coaching that will level you up in your business, in your personal and professional life, just by changing your words, your thoughts, and your actions intentionally, and surrender, and your business will just blossom. I know mine have. So tell us, how can people work with you, Inez?
You can work with me, right? You can send me an email. So you might want to write this down. And the email is to be sent to Jane Lewis, my assistant, Jane Lewis 182 at yahoo.com. And that's Jane, JaneLewis 182 at yahoo.com.
And what are some of the programs that you can offer, Inez?
Well, one of the programs I'm offering is a pantry makeover. And the pantry makeover is because many times we eat so many processed foods, and we wonder why we have all this inflammation. We wonder why the bones hurt. We say we got arthritis in our hand. We get in the gout, all this stuff. So doing a pantry makeover, I go over everything with you that's in your pantry, and we can do this on Zoom. If you want to let me see your pantry on Zoom, that's perfectly fine. And as we do the pantry makeover, I give you the ideas, and we talk about what it is that you love so much. And much of the foods that we love this process is because they have added exotisins in it so that we love the taste of it, even though it doesn't add any nutrients to us. So that's a gift that I'm giving out. I'm giving out one pantry makeover. So whenever you email me, Jane Lewis 182 at yahoo.com, let me know if you want the pantry makeover or if you are wanting to have a coaching session.
And okay, so you got that. So everyone out there, you guys heard how you can work with Binance. I'm going to be promoting her and doing some collaborations with her because I do have clients that require that kind of coaching. It's kind of hard to provide high performance coaching in their business if the personal isn't coming together, because that throws a wrench in where they need to go in their business. So I definitely want to refer out to you. Also, Inez, I'm super, super excited because September, and shout out to all the Virgos. Happy birthday to you. It's just, I've got a granddaughter's birthday was yesterday, and I had to do the Amazon thing and ship her something. I have two more grandkids that are their birthday is this month. Shout out to just all the people that were born in, I don't even want to call names because I have like 6 family members that are born in September. So everyone out there, there's a couple of parties that are going on. And so you Virgos, you guys got it going on. I love you guys. And I am excited because September is the month. It's called Queen of Hearts. It's the month that I had this horrific heart attack and open heart surgery. And there's going to be a big celebration starting next Sunday. We are going to be doing some amazing things. There's going to be a lot of giveaways. We're going to go live. We're going to talk about what it takes to keep the heart healthy. And women, listen, it's a silent killer. And I had no signs or symptoms or whatever. I'm going to share my story with the world and celebrate my 1-year anniversary of being grateful and gratitude and thankful and what my life looked like and all the health things that have been sent over my way. Thank you, Inez. You've given me great supplements that are just part of my regimen. And how did I come from last year in September to this year? So there's going to be a huge celebration. Stay tuned in. Lots of speakers are going to come out and talk with us. So Queen of Hearts got something great for you guys. Laura, where are you? So please stay posted. I will be on the Talks with Tanya platform. I may be hanging out with Tan TV and doing some. If Laura say, B, I'm going to need you to do this, I'm Johnny on the spot. But for the most part, there will be a lot of giveaways that I'm in your business. There's money, there's gift cards, there's just going to be a flow of giving because my heart is what, Inez? It's
Your
healed.
heart is just amazing. And I just want to congratulate you and say happy anniversary because you went through some stuff
Some stuff.
and you came out on the other side.
Right. And just, you're so right. And so I want to share with family and friends what that feel like to be a part of this. And Laura, we both have seen the good, the bad. We both have loved on each other. We have cried. We've done everything. And so I want to celebrate with you ladies. You know me, Inez. You know me, Laura. And we don't cut punches for each other. We like come straight at each other and check each other. So I appreciate all the love that you guys have shown me. And I can't wait to share my heart journey with some of the Facebook fans who had no idea and see what happens. So you guys will be, Inez, she'll be part of this. But I really want you guys to work with Inez. Book a coaching session with her, join one of her programs. She comes highly recommended so that we can be better. And we are better together.
Wow.
And we work together in our words and our thoughts. That matters. Take it away, Laura. Thank you, Laura, for allowing us to be a part of TAN TV. VIP Laura. Laura is just moving on up, moving on up. And There is no sky. You heard Inez. Go above the
There is a
stars.
sky. There's a sky.
You out of the
So,
sky. So
no, so
you
you
guys
have
know
been.
that Laura's doing some amazing things with Fox over in San Antonio. She has other collaborative partners, and her business has been around, and she has been faithful in her business. She does have a business partner, Vance, who comes on at midnight with his show. And if you guys are ever up at night, he's hilarious. He bring all the guys on, so I get to check out the guys at 12 midnight
Right.
because they're on. I want to know what they're talking about. It's UC Sports.
Wow. So you have been tuned into the coffee break on TAN TV, the African American Network, where we have a local feel with a global reach. But before we go, I want to commend you, Inez Bracy, for your wisdom. When you always try to, and I shouldn't judge what I think people are gonna be like, or how they're gonna come across, but you exceeded my expectations. And that pantry makeover, that's something that I would like to consider. And also the coaching. She's a very, very, very wise woman. And every time Bea Baylor asked her a question, I was anticipating one answer, and she took me totally around to make us see it from a different perspective. And that's what you can't change unless you can see something from a different perspective. And so Inez is gifted to be able to help people to see, make life easier, and make the things that we carry so heavily, and make it light and make it say, oh, okay, well, why didn't I think of that? It's simple, but it's not simple.
Right.
And so, but Inez has made it very, very simple, and has given all of us a mini consultation. So you got to go call her. Her email address, her assistant's email address is in the chat box. So check her out. She's given a free pantry makeover. I don't know how many and how that works, but email her assistant and you'll find out. But so thank you so much, Bea Baylor, for your great host womanship, and thank you, Inez, for
Thank
the
you.
great
Thank you.
information. I really got a lot out of it, and this is just my first session, so I'm going to be using that email to find out how I can learn more and grow more. So you have been tuned into the coffee break again on TAN TV, the African American Network, where we have a local feel with the global reach. And thank you for hanging out with us tonight. We had a really super fabulous time, and hope to see you again. Bye-bye. So did y'all want to go out on a little music right quick before we go?
Yeah, I like music.
So we have another coffee break coming up tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the same place. We have we have our last interview with the women for. See, that's so that's our partner. Well, my partner, he came in for a few minutes, but so we are gonna see you next time. We have a show coming up tomorrow night. We are finishing up our Women's Warrior Project series. The Women's Warrior Project is a book, an anthology of 22 immigrants that moved to the United States and had to make adjustments, and they wrote their stories about it. And so our last interview for that project is going to be tomorrow night at 7, so tune in. And Bea Baylor and Inez Bracy, thank you so much again for
Thank you.
stopping by and just really enlightening and empowering us for these 30 minutes.